Hey guys, YouTuber 100 here. Alright, and you may have noticed over the last several months I've been making a lot of movie reviews. Yeah, for the last several months I've just been doing a lot of series of certain movies I've been reviewing. October I did like the Chucky reviews, along with the Goosebumps videos and the Mummy movie reviews. For November I reviewed the Star Wars movies, December the Pixar movies. For March, I reviewed the Superman and Batman movies, and then just this past month, for May, I reviewed the Marvel Cinematic Universe and the X-Men movies. And, and I haven't really made any, wrestling reviews for quite a while now. So, yeah, I just decided I wanted to make another retro wrestling review. But I didn't want to do something like from Attitude Era, Ruthless Aggression Era, something like that. I wanted to go really old school for a retro review, like something from back from the Hulk Hogan era, in the late '80s, early '90s. And yeah, there really weren't that many pay-per-views back then. Aside from Royal Rumble, WrestleMania, SummerSlam, and Survivor Series. Yeah, back then there were really just the four main pay-per-views that year, and not the stuff that we have today, where there's a pay-per-view each and every month. So yeah, there really weren't that many, but I decided to for the few they had, I decided to just review one of those, and yeah, this is going to be a review of 1991's Tuesday in Texas. Yeah, this show took place about a week after Survivor Series that year. Now, this is a pay-per-view that a lot of people really don't seem to remember, and yet it is pretty forgettable, aside from the main event. And yeah, even then, the main event, I've seen some people really just hate on this main event, and it really doesn't deserve it. A lot of people just really, I don't think, are really understand really what the story was for the main event, and how yeah. I'll talk more about it when I get to the main event. And yeah, now like I said, a lot of people really don't seem to remember this pay per view. Yeah, well, every time the WWE has a Tuesday pay per view, it really doesn't seem to do that well. There was this, and there was also the Taboo Tuesday pay per views, which was later changed to Cyber Sunday. And the Tuesday pay per views really don't seem to do that well at all. Well, and yeah, this was the only Tuesday in Texas pay per view ever. Yeah, this pay per view was actually pretty short. This pay per view was only about an hour and a half long. It only had 5 matches on the actual pay per view. Yeah, there were actually 8 dark matches on the show before the pay per view officially aired. So yeah, there were 13 matches on this night, but yeah, only 5 actually aired on the show. Yeah, there were 8 dark matches. There was the Harris Brothers versus Brian Donahue and Brian Costello, Sir Charles versus Dale Wolf, Chris Walker versus Brian Lee, Chris Chavez versus JW Storm, Greg Valentine versus the Brooklyn Brawler, the Nasty Boys versus the Bushwhackers, Legion of Doom versus the Beverly Brothers for the Tag Team Championship, and Ric Flair versus Roddy Piper. So yeah, all of those matches were just yeah, they didn't air on the pay-per-view. They took place before the show officially started. So yeah, the live crowd actually got to see a lot more than we did, or the people that watched it on pay-per-view. So yeah, and yeah, I'm not sure how good or how bad all those matches are, but for every the 5 matches that actually aired on the show, yeah, they're really not that great. They're not none of them are terrible or anything, but aside from the main event, all these matches are pretty forgettable. Yeah, and yeah, this a lot of people just really don't seem to talk about it. This isn't a horrible show or anything, but it's not really something people talk about. People don't really say, "Hey, do you remember Tuesday in Texas that year?" Yeah, this really isn't something people really seem to talk about. So yeah, let me just get into the matches. So the first match on the show was the Intercontinental Championship match, Bret Hart defending against Skinner. This really was not anything too special. I mean, it was okay, I guess. I mean, yeah, Bret Hart got the early advantage in this match, but then eventually Skinner then just drove Bret Hart's shoulder into the ring post, and then yeah, Bret Hart hurt his shoulder, so Ian Skinner, you're like gained control in the match. And he was in control for almost the entire thing after that. And then Bret Hart then eventually made a comeback after Skinner tried to dive from the rope onto him, but then Bret Hart got his leg up and kicked Skinner in the face. Then Skinner tried to dive onto Bret Hart again, but then Bret Hart grabbed Skinner and then just slammed him down to the mat. Then eventually Bret Hart got his sharpshooter in on Skinner, and then Skinner eventually submitted. But yeah, I mean, what was up with submissions back then? I mean, back then you really, like, people didn't really, like, tap out when they submitted. They just always just said, yeah, I give up, and yeah, that was, like, how submissions were back then. Or at least that's how a lot of wrestlers did them. I mean, you really didn't really see them tapping out like they do today. So, I mean, I really don't know what the deal is with that. But, yeah, and anyway, yeah, Bret Hart won this match, and, yeah, Bret Hart retained the Intercontinental title. So, yeah, like I said, it was okay, but, yeah, nothing too special. I give it about 2.25. Then, next up, had Jake the Snake Roberts versus Macho Man Randy Savage. Yeah, I mean, this feud was actually pretty dark for the time. I mean, yeah, I mean, during this time, I mean, this was still, like, the WWF at this time was still, they were PG back then, and yeah, for PG, I mean, this was actually real dark stuff. I mean, this just shows, like, PG back then for the WWF is way different than, like, how it is for the WWE now. I mean, yeah, I mean, today it's just, like, PG light for the WWE, while, like, back then it was, like, PG heavy. Like, you saw some really, like, dark stuff back then. And especially, like, in this Jake Roberts, Randy Savage feud. Remember, like, Jake Roberts, like, crashed Macho Man and Elizabeth's wedding reception. Yeah, he gave them a present with a king cobra. Right, yeah. And we also, like, had the segment where Jake Roberts was just, like, taunting Randy Savage. And then he eventually, like, Randy Savage ended up, like, with his arms tied in the rope saying, Jake Roberts had his king cobra bite Randy Savage right in the arm. And yeah, that was, I mean, that stuff was, like, really pretty dark for PG. And yeah, there were, like, there's two really great pre-match interviews with Randy Savage and Jake Roberts before the match. And yeah, I think this was Randy Savage's first match after him being reinstated after losing to Ultimate Warrior at WrestleMania 7. And yeah, and yeah, in this match, it was alright. I mean, I thought it, like, did its job, I guess. I mean, yeah, it was basically just Randy Savage just really, like, wanting revenge on Jake Roberts and to just pretty much destroy him. And yeah, Randy Savage's arm was, of course, bandaged up after that snake bite. And yeah, Jake Roberts was targeting that in the match. And yeah, he just tried to unwrap the bandage a little bit. And then at one point, Jake Roberts tried to go for a DDT on Randy Savage. But Randy Savage then just countered. And yeah, he just drove his shoulder right into Jake Roberts' ribs. And then yeah, and then Jake Roberts was just, like, holding onto his ribs and just clutching them on the canvas. And then eventually Randy Savage got his flying elbow drop on Jake Roberts and pinned him. And Randy Savage won. But again, yeah, of course, after the match, Randy Savage still wasn't done. He still wanted to exact more revenge on Jake Roberts. He tried to, like, hit him with a couple of things like the steel chair and the ring bell, but he kept getting disarmed. And then eventually Jake Roberts then hit Randy Savage with 2 DDTs. And then, yeah, in this match, like, Jack Tunney prevented Jake Roberts from bringing this snake down to the corner in the match. And it turned out that Jake Roberts had the snake actually under the ring. And then, yeah, he was gonna release the Cobra on Randy Savage again. Then Miss Elizabeth came out to ringside. She tried to get Randy Savage out and get Jake Roberts to stop attacking him. And then Jake Roberts gave Randy Savage another DDT right in front of Miss Elizabeth. And then we had, oh my gosh, one of the most evil things Jake Roberts could have done. The Snake Roberts then slapped Miss Elizabeth right in the face. I mean, oh my gosh, freaking sick bastard. Seriously, I mean, slapping Miss Elizabeth? Well, I mean, that was just sick. And then, yeah, then eventually, like, Jack Tunney and the referees got Jake Roberts to just leave. Yeah, and then in the back, like, Mean Gene was interviewing Jake Roberts. Robertson, yeah, just Jake Roberts giving another evil interview saying he was going to do more and stuff. And then later on, Sean Mooney was interviewing Randy Savage, and yeah, Randy Savage was just furious about what Jake Roberts did. And so, yeah, I mean, yeah, the promos that Jake Roberts and Randy Savage cut on this night were just great promos. Oh, yeah. And yeah, this match, I mean, like I said, it did what it had to do, I guess. I give it about 2.5 stars. Then next up, we had the Warlord versus the British Bulldog. I mean, this match was just like kind of there. I mean, I guess it was decent. I'd say. I mean, not really too much happened here. I mean, at one point, like, Warlord had, like, his full Nelson lock on British Bulldog for what seemed like forever. Then he eventually let go, and then, yeah, just kind of back and forth between the two. And then, yeah, British Bulldog then had a crucifix on the Warlord and rolled him up for the pin, and, yeah, British Bulldog won. So, yeah, I mean, just kind of there. I give it about, I don't know, 2 3/4, I guess. And then next up had Ted DiBiase and the Repo Man versus Tito Santana and Virgil. I mean, why were Repo Man and Tito Santana even in this match? I mean, like, this was going on during, like, the Ted DiBiase-Virgil feud. Like, Virgil broke away from Ted DiBiase and they had the WrestleMania match, and then at SummerSlam, Virgil won the $1 Million Championship from Ted DiBiase, and yeah, Ted DiBiase then, like, won it back. And so yeah, they could have just, like, continued this Ted DiBiase Virgil feud, just have it between the two of them, and not have Repo Man and Tito Santana in this match. Now, once again, I mean, yeah, the match was nothing special. I mean, not too much happened here. I mean, Tito Santana was, like, legal for a little while in the match. Then he eventually was able to tag in Virgil, and then, yeah, Virgil, of course, went after Ted DiBiase. Yeah, and at one point, as Tito Santana and the Repo Man were going at it, the referee was distracted with them. And, like, yeah, Sherry, who was Ted DiBiase's manager, tried to hit Virgil with her shoe, but Virgil ducked, and Sherry accidentally hit Ted DiBiase. And then Virgil was gonna attack Sherry, but then Repo Man then just, like, attacked Virgil, like just hitting him in the back or something. And apparently that just hurt Virgil so bad that he just couldn't kick out of a pin attempt by Ted DiBiase. So yeah, Ted DiBiase pinned Virgil, and Repo Man and Ted DiBiase won. So, yeah, I mean, that was kind of a dumb way to end it, and yeah, the match really was nothing that special. Give it, like, I don't know, 2.5 stars. And then we got the main event for the WWF Championship, Undertaker defending against Hulk Hogan. This was Hulk Hogan's rematch against Undertaker after Undertaker beat Hulk Hogan for the title at Survivor Series with the help of Ric Flair. And yeah, Jack Tunney was, like, sitting at ringside watching this match to prevent any other controversy that may happen in the match. Yeah. Like I said, I mean, a lot of people are really just seem to, well, some people anyway, they just really seem to hate on this match and say, like, it really sucked and it was boring and just Undertaker and Hulk Hogan never worked well together. I mean, none of that is true. I mean, I can't really get mad at people for having their opinions, but like like I said before, with people just maybe I feel like people maybe just really may not actually understand really the story about this match and really what was going on at this time. Yeah, I mean, yeah, because I mean, yeah, this was still when Undertaker was still relatively new to the company. I mean, yeah, Undertaker was just starting his second year of the company. Yeah, at this point, yeah, I mean, that Survivor Series would have marked his 1 year anniversary after debuting in the company. And yeah, at this point, Undertaker was still like undefeated. He did, and yeah, and plus, I mean, this was, and yeah, I mean, this was like a really, really good to great match. Really, I mean, people may not really, like I said, people are maybe probably just really don't understand really what was actually going on here. Because I mean, at this point, like Undertaker, yeah, Undertaker's character here was like really different compared to like what he later on, what he became later on, and like what he is today. During this time, Undertaker was kind of this character was more like more like kind of a zombie-like character. So Undertaker was moving like a lot slower at, during this time than he like did later on. And so yeah, I think that's probably why some people are kind of like really negative on this match because of how slow it really went and how Undertaker was moving. But this was kind of part of his character at the time. Like he was a zombie-like character, not really just like a phenom, and just like a like acts like a dead man like he does now, like just like known as the Dead Man. I mean, back at this during this time when he was still new to the company, he was still like kind of a like a zombie type of character. Or yeah, so that's the reason why he was like so slow during this time. And yeah, I mean, and plus during this point, like Undertaker was like pretty much really just nothing more than a jobber, pretty much. I mean, because think about it, Undertaker had debuted in the WWF Survivor Series the previous year in 1990, and be honest, what do you actually remember about Undertaker's career during like basically his first year? I mean, in there was of course like his very first WrestleMania match where the streak started, but people really don't seem to really remember the actual match itself. They just really remember it pretty much for Undertaker's streak being born and his first WrestleMania win. But yeah, I mean, for Undertaker's first year, what do you actually remember? I mean, can you actually remember any of his matches or like anything that really happened with him during his first year of the company? I mean, when he beat Hulk Hogan at Survivor Series just like a week before this, I mean, that was really kind of like the start of Undertaker really becoming the big star that he is now for the company. Yeah, because yeah, this was Undertaker's first title win. I mean, yeah, he won the WWF title here, and yeah, this was really the start of him like becoming the big star that he is now. And plus, he actually defeated Hulk Hogan. I mean, how many times did Hulk Hogan actually lose a match? I don't want to say cleanly, but like by a clean 1, 2, 3 pinfall. Well, like there was some controversy in the Survivor Series match with like Ric Flair helping Undertaker by bringing the steel chair and having Undertaker tombstone Hulk Hogan on it. But I mean, still like there was still like a 1, 2, 3 win and Hulk Hogan like didn't kick out. You know what I mean? It was very rare for Hulk Hogan to lose like that back then. I mean, the only time he really like lost like a 1, 2, 3 was against Ultimate Warrior at WrestleMania 6. I mean, because with the controversy with the Andre the Giant match on the main event when Andre won the title from him, like it was like he didn't really like cleanly pin Hulk Hogan because yeah, Hulk Hogan did kick out. So yeah, it was very rare for Hulk Hogan to ever like just lose in a pinfall loss like this where he didn't kick out. And yeah, Undertaker actually did. I mean, so yeah, Hulk Hogan actually did put Undertaker over in Survivor Series, and yeah, he did. Yeah, Undertaker did win the title. And yeah, a lot of people just really like hate on this match, really, and I feel like it's probably because like how Undertaker was moving and how like really like dominant he really did look, and Hulk Hogan really didn't get a lot of offense. But yeah, that was like kind of like part of the storyline because yeah, Undertaker was still like I said, he was undefeated it up to here. And yeah, I mean, since Hulk Hogan was like really the top guy of the company here, and plus since he hardly really ever lost, it was like thinking maybe Undertaker could actually like really like kill Hulkamania and stop Hulk Hogan. And then yeah, I mean, and yeah, since Hulk Hogan was like really the top face and everybody, and the person everybody loved, they wanted Hulk Hogan to like stop Undertaker. And yeah, like I said, I mean, this match it is really, really, really good, especially like for the story behind this match. Yeah, yeah, I mean, it's kind of like just like Undertaker is the big guy, and yeah, just kind of like Hulk Hogan battling him, and maybe Undertaker is actually more powerful than Hulk Hogan. And yeah, and throughout this match, like Hulk Hogan did like start with beating down Undertaker, but then like it showed that a lot of Hulk Hogan moves really didn't seem to have any effect on Undertaker, and Undertaker just really seemed to overpower Hulk Hogan. Yeah, because yeah, Undertaker was like choking Hulk Hogan a lot, and anytime Hulk Hogan got an offensive move, and it really didn't seem to affect Undertaker, and yeah, Undertaker just like didn't seem to really have any effect by Hulk Hogan's moves, and yeah, I mean, yeah, and yeah, the match really did tell a good story, and yeah, the storyline that was going on, which I'll talk about. I'll talk more about kind of like the story behind this match when I get to the end. Yeah, anyway, and Hulk Hogan like was trying to gain upper hand on Undertaker, but it seemed like Undertaker just seemed more powerful, and he kept overpowering Hulk Hogan. And yeah, Hulk Undertaker was trying to choke Hulk Hogan out, and then eventually Hulk Hogan like was starting to come back, and yeah, he was able to like get break Undertaker's grip from his throat and his face. And then when Hulk Hogan started to gain the upper hand, then Ric Flair then did come out to ringside. And then of course Jack Tunney saw him, and yeah, Jack Tunney was just like talking to Ric Flair, trying to get him to leave. And after Hulk Hogan knocked Undertaker out of the ring, Hulk Hogan then went after Ric Flair, and then he hit Ric Flair in the back with a steel chair. And then Ric Flair just fell right on top of Jack Tunney and knocked him out. And with Jack Tunney down, then Ric Flair tried to help Undertaker again, like he did at Survivor Series. Yeah, he stood up on the apron with the steel chair, trying to get an Undertaker. Tried to help Undertaker to throw Hulk Hogan right into the chair, but Hulk Hogan was able to reverse, and he threw Undertaker into the chair. Then he knocked Ric Flair down, and then yeah, Hulk Hogan then did start to get upper hand on Undertaker, and then yeah, Ric Flair was distracted with Paul Bearer, and then the referee was distracted with Paul Bearer, and Ric Flair tried to get Jack Tunney back up, and as the referee was distracted like with Ric Flair and Jack Tunney, he Undertaker held Hulk Hogan, and Paul Bearer tried to hit Hulk Hogan with the urn, but Hulk Hogan ducked, and Paul Bearer accidentally hit Undertaker with the urn. Then Hulk Hogan then knocked Paul Bearer down, and yeah, Hulk Hogan got a handful of ashes from the urn, and then yeah, Ric Flair was able to like pull Jack Tunney up to get his head over the apron to actually see inside the ring, and then yeah, Hulk Hogan then threw the ashes into Undertaker's eyes, and then Hulk Hogan rolled up Undertaker and pinned Undertaker, and Hulk Hogan regained the title. And yeah, Hulk Hogan became the champion again. And yeah, a lot of people kind of complain about this because of how short Undertaker's title reign was here, but the reason Undertaker's reign was so short here was because the WWE was really like, this was part of like the story of WWE really building up to their original plan for WrestleMania 8, which was the match between Hulk Hogan and Ric Flair that year. And yeah, this was just like part of the storyline to just kind of advance it to lead up to the match. Of course, like the match was later on and scrapped after the plans were changed, but that was at this time that was still their plan. So yeah, that's the reason why Undertaker's reign was so short here, was because it was just part of the storyline of WWE leading up to the match between Hulk Hogan and Ric Flair at WrestleMania 8. So yeah, so a lot of people really complained, but it was really part of a storyline. And plus, it's not like Hulk Hogan really just was hogging the spotlight here, because like just a few days after this, then Jack Tunney then stripped Hulk Hogan of the championship because of the controversy in both Survivor Series and this match. And yeah, then it was vacated and then put on the line in the Royal Rumble match. So yeah, I mean, you're so. Yeah, I mean, people really seem to complain about the story and the match, but this match was really, really good to great if you actually do understand the story behind this match and what was actually going on. So yeah, I mean, and a lot of people just really don't seem to really understand that, and I get the feeling that's probably why they seem to really hate on the match and really just say it sucked, but it didn't suck. This was a great match. Survivor Series was a great match. Hulk Hogan and Undertaker did work well together at this time. But at Judgment Day 2002, that's another story. I mean, that was the match that people can really complain about. But yeah, as far as this match, it was a great match. I give this a solid 4 stars. I mean, at the time, this was Undertaker's best match, and I still do say it is one of Undertaker and even one of Hulk Hogan's best matches of their career, really. I mean, it was a really great match. So, yeah. Yeah, but yeah. So anyway, yeah, 4 stars for that match. Overall, the show, I give it about, I don't know, a 6 out of 10. And I mean, yeah, I mean the main event is really good to great if you can actually understand like the story and what was going on during the time. But yeah, everything else about it is pretty forgettable, and yeah, it's not really anything you need to check out. But yeah, do take a look at the Hulk Hogan Undertaker match if, like I said, you do actually really know and understand what was really happening in with that story during the time. So yeah, all right. So yeah, anyway, okay. So yeah, that does for my review of Tuesday in Texas. I hope you guys enjoyed this review, and so yeah, thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys later.